Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jody and on my channel I talk about Broadway and books. And in today's video I will be doing my February reading wrap up where I talk about the one book I read in February. So essentially this will be a spoiler-free book review as well. So first I'll talk a bit on what the book I read is about, then share my thoughts, then give out my star rating. So without any further ado, let's get on to what I read in February, which would be a book called Something From Tiffany's by Melissa Hill. So Something From Tiffany's is a story that starts off with two different storylines that eventually become one. The first storyline follows that of Ethan Green. He's a single dad, he's a widower, and he's going to propose to his girlfriend Vanessa, but he wants to make this a really memorable moment in their lives, a grand proposal, so he decides to fly everyone out to New York City during the Christmas holiday season. Once they're there, Ethan goes to Tiffany's to pick up the ring that he ordered for Vanessa alone, and then the plan is then to propose to Vanessa on Christmas morning. The other storyline follows that of Gary Knowles, who's also in New York City during the Christmas holiday season with his girlfriend Rachel. Gary's out shopping alone, and then he realizes he forgot to buy Rachel a present for Christmas. So Gary also goes to Tiffany's, and he then picks up a gift for Rachel for Christmas. And so I'm just going to leave the overview at that because I'm making this spoiler-free review. So as far as my thoughts on this book, I absolutely love this book. I would definitely categorize Something From Tiffany's as very much a romantic comedy, a rom-com, and, you know, I was thinking to myself, I've read a few romance novels over the years, but I don't think I've ever read a romantic comedy, and after reading a book like this, I can understand why this genre is so popular. It's just such a fun and good time, and Something From Tiffany's was very much that. As far as the writing goes, I thought Melissa Hill just did a fantastic job with this story. She's a really great storyteller. The story just flowed very seamlessly from one page to the next. The chapters were short, which I definitely prefer, and it was just such a fun, enjoyable, sweet read. And as far as some of the specifics of the story, such as the characters and the setting, I thought the author did a really amazing job giving all the characters such personality, and they were very memorable, and their characters I won't soon forget anytime soon. And then as far as the setting goes, I thought the author once again did an absolutely fantastic job with you know, describing what New York City is like during the Christmas holiday season and how there's that magic and joy and happiness in the air. And I just thought just a really fantastic job with that as well. As far as, you know, there being like a predictability factor, I feel like with rom-coms, you know, 9 times out of 10 with storylines like that fall into this genre, there is always a bit of a predictability factor. But honestly, I feel like books that are in this genre, if there is a predictability factor, I feel like the author has really done their job and done it well, because it makes the book just so much more fun to read. And like, at least for me, I found myself, you know, looking at certain storylines, thinking to myself, that's going to happen next, and sure enough, it did. But it just made the story just so much more fun to read. You felt like you were a part of it, and it was just so much fun. That being said, there were a few twists at the end of the story that I honestly didn't see coming, and I was very surprised by. So there's that in the story as well. If there was one complaint I had for this book, I did think it was a bit on the long side, especially for a rom-com. The book runs in about 371 pages. That being said, once I started to read more and more of the story and get more and more invested in the story and wanting to see where the story was going to go and wanting to see the journey that these characters were going to take, that started to annoy me less and less because I was just fully invested in the story. And initially, I was a little bit taken back by how long this book is, but then I was like, yeah, I don't mind because I just love the story so much and I love the characters and all that stuff. So, you know, now that, you know, my thoughts are done and I talked about what this book is about, I will now give out my star rating. And like I said, there was really not much that I disliked about this book, and I loved almost everything about it. So that being said, I did give this book 5 stars. It's just one of my favorite books now, and I really enjoyed my time reading it and had such a great time. And if you didn't know, Amazon did make an original film adaptation for this novel, which I have recently watched, and I do hope to make a video talking about some of the book adaptations that I've watched recently. But if you didn't know that and you like to read a book before you watch its adaptation, there you go. And yeah, I really think if you like books in the romantic comedy genre and you haven't read this yet, I definitely recommend picking this up to read because I think you'll most likely like it. And even if you haven't read a book or you're not really a fan of the rom-com genre, I think anyone really could like this book. But that's just my opinion. And yeah, highly recommend. Really love this book. Really enjoyed my time reading it. And this is my video now for what I read in February. So I hope you guys all had a great reading month as well. And as always, thank you so very much for watching. And until next time, bye.